I myself have worked and lived overseas for many years. I've spent over 14 years overseas. I understand the pain areas, the areas where most NRIs find the maximum amount of difficulties when it comes to their legal issues, specifically things which they may or may not want to do in connection with India. Divorce, separation, adoption, surrogacy, child custody, huge issues. Fundamentally, there may be very many differences. It is also based on your religion. Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jainis, Christians, there are different rules. There are other areas which I will briefly be covering. One is on real estate. Most Indians living overseas either have invested in India or may have inherited properties in India. But whatever your circumstances are, at the end of the day, maybe it could be after 1 year or maybe after 50 years, you would want to have your money in the host country in which you are living. What happens when you sell your property? What are the documents required for selling your property? Is a PAN card or an Aadhaar card mandatory or not when there is a property transaction happening? What are the KYC rules? Secondly, when you get the money into your bank account in India, what are the rules and regulations for you to repatriate the funds? One of the biggest problems, and we are day in and day out fighting on behalf of clients at times, because financial institutions, although all banks are governed under the same RBI rules, but they all interpret the rules differently. OCI card, again, is most Indians who have changed their passports and are today nationals of another country, yet have taken the OCI card, and the OCI card has many distinct advantages. You do not for life need a visa to come to India. It's your home country, I would say. But KYC norms for OCIs, how frequently do you have to update the information on your OCI card? The pictures may require updation, your signatures may have changed. When everybody is in India, the will registration is a very simple and standard and basic process, because the beneficiary is also resident Indian, the person who's making the will is also Indian, and all the assets are also in India. You live overseas and your assets in real estate are in India. You could be a joint owner between husband and wife, jointly. Usually many people have joint properties. Your children could be living in your country as well, in the same country as in which you are, but the property is in India, and God forbid something happens to you, then how do we ensure that your property is transferred to your children's name, and if they want to sell it, they are easily able to sell it and take the proceeds of that? How does a divorce proceeding happen when either one or both the parties are not living in India? Real estate laws pertaining to NRIs. Now, real estate is a sector where every NRI has some kind of an investment. Either he will inherit real estate in India, or he may have invested in India, is either already owning properties, may want to own properties, or may want to sell his properties. If you have changed your nationality, or if you are holding your NRI status, how do you smoothly, efficiently do a transaction in India? Even NRIs are prohibited from buying agricultural land. Okay, the state rules and regulations are different in various countries, but there are various restrictions. And even when you own real estate, you will not keep it empty if you're not living in it, right? So you would definitely want to have a tenant who would pay good rent and have a tenancy contract. How do you make a good tenancy contract? Specifically when you are overseas, the tenant is in India, and obviously we have some of the tenancy laws in India are pretty outdated, and the legal, God forbid, if you ever have to fight a case on property matters in India, then it could take anywhere from minimum 2-3 years to go up to 10, 15, 20, 30 years. We are assuming that you are a landlord, you have properties here, and you are giving your property on rent to either an individual or to a company. So should you go in for an 11th month lease? Should you go in a 3+3+3 for a commercial property, rules and regulations for commercial and residential properties may vary. Some basic information which all NRIs need to keep track of. Do you have a PAN card? We've seen some people have, some people don't have. How do you get a PAN card made? How do you update it? OCI card, do you have it? Do you not have it? What is the current process for getting an OCI card made? What is the validity of it? How do you ensure that if you have Indian income or income coming out from Indian assets, it could be from a bank account, it could be rental income, it could be any income which is generated from India. So life is not very simple when you are looking at managing your money and your assets in India.